A guy on a bike was riding on the streets and decided to go up a ledge. It was all going well, but when he landed, his luck just ran out. He lost his bike and I would be so sad. This car was driving on the highway during a thunderstorm when suddenly lightning struck the car. It must have been really scary. If you think your day was bad, just watch this mother and son run across the street and get knocked over by the wind. Unfortunately, a car was coming right at them, but luckily it stopped just in time. He is definitely not winning the race. So unlucky. This girl wanted water, so she went to a fountain, but she actually had really bad luck considering what happened. Ooh, that umbrella barely did anything. Next up, we have this dude who tried to be smart by floating his phone on a stream, but what he didn't expect is that the stream would just rob him. You gotta see what comes out of the tunnel at the end. This next clip must have been super hard to clean. Fell over and could have crushed them. These water rides seem so fun, but what happened to this one was super unlucky. The ride fell off the track and this is terrible. Next, we have this super unlucky dog who was trying to climb back on this tree when another dog came out of nowhere and straight up pushed him off. Now this is what happens when you try to go fishing in a lake that has fish heavier than humans. This guy could have drowned, but luckily he was safe. A girl was with her boyfriend on a super high cliff and didn't want to jump.
2, 1, 0!
As she was waiting there, she had the worst luck because her boyfriend pushed her off. Luckily, she had all the correct safety gear. Next, we have a guy who became super unlucky after his friend surfed straight into him. He was talking with some girls and was asking for their number. But right after he did it, he got hit in the worst spot possible, if you know what I mean. This car was driving on a road and everything was going fine, but then things take a turn for the worst. Luckily, no one was harmed. This deer appeared in the middle of the road and at first it seemed pretty friendly, but after the driver started talking to it, the deer had enough and actually damaged the car. During a hurricane, a small bounce house became super unlucky and started getting pushed by the wind. I would be terrified if I saw it coming at me. This guy was waiting to catch his friend who was on a zipline, but what actually ended up happening was super unlucky. He must have been frightened. Next, we have this girl who got stuck on a ski lift in the worst way possible. She was hanging only by her jacket. I'm glad she was able to get down safely. In this next clip, we have a family who was out for a swim in the water when the weather completely turned on them. They literally had no luck. This guy was having the time of his life riding on the water, but then he actually fell off and disappeared. This must have been a terrifying experience. This guy was riding his motorbike on the highway when a snake fell onto his seat. He had to keep driving as there was nowhere to stop. This must have been super scary. I couldn't have kept going. While snakes are bad enough, what's even scarier is being trapped outside a plane 10,000 feet in the air. This guy was about to skydive, but he got his bag stuck on the outer plane door. This must have been so terrifying. While humans can have unlucky moments, so can animals, cause in this next clip, we have a cat that tried to jump and grab something, but ended up falling and being trapped below the floor. This kid was punching his TV because it wasn't working, but little did he know it was actually turned off. But it was too late because he already punched it too hard. Next, we have a very evil prank that this guy's girlfriend did. I guess it just wasn't his lucky day. But if that wasn't unlucky enough, this next guy must have had the worst day of his life after he ruined his car. He was trying to fix it, but actually failed. Wow, they bought a brand new window and something terrible had to happen. Speaking of glass, this guy was working out and finished a heavy set. He stopped to get some water so he could recover. Meanwhile, the mirror behind him fell over and shattered all over the floor. A girl was running on the street in her new clean outfit and she suddenly tripped into wet cement. She ruined both the cement and her clothes, and this was not her lucky day. At work, this guy was removing some crates from a very high unit. It was starting to fall off, but he kept going. It all fell down and must have cost him his job. It sucks to be him. This guy got so unlucky because he was playing on the playscape when he got stuck in the worst way possible. I'm so glad he was safe in the end. This cat made a dumb decision of walking on a fish tank and it falls in. Why did it try this? These people captured their dog slamming through a glass table. Luckily, there were no injuries, but you gotta see. This guy didn't realize he was jumping deep into the ground, and this is one of the deepest puddles ever. In this much crazier clip, we have this group of friends who were playing around the mud until one guy decided to jump into this shallow looking mud pit. But the problem is, this mud pit was probably the size of a black hole as he completely disappears when he jumps in. Don't jump into these things because you might end up disappearing from Earth like this guy did. The pipes in this house started to burst and a huge bubble of sewage started to form above their bathroom. What comes out at the end is disgusting. This guy didn't notice there was a window here and his car went right through the glass. Never try this. Next, we have these super unlucky girls who jumped into water infested with sharks. They were on their boat and didn't know there were sharks around, but then their dad spots a shark and it gets nuts. Luckily, they were safe in the end. This girl was walking on the road when she got her leg caught in a sewer gate. Luckily, the firemen were able to remove her leg, but this must have been so scary for her since she was stuck in the road helpless for hours. On the other hand, I also found some lucky moments. Click the video on the screen to see the world's luckiest moments.